Corey, Trump or DeSantis?
Well, I like them both. I think Big Daddy DeSantis has been a great governor, and so I'm all for him running for president in 2028. I said this on Twitter. I was not excited about the prospect that he was going to run for president because, quite frankly, I want to see Trump run, which he is, and I want to see him win because I want him to finish what he started. Number one, I want to finish the fucking wall, number one. And number two, he always said he was going to drain the swamp, and quite frankly, after what all that fuckery that happened with Fauci and everything else, he basically turned the country over to the swamp, and they're still coming after his ass. So I like an underdog, and as far as cheerleaders for the country, he's a great cheerleader for the country. I mean, you look, we got Biden, who obviously is in severe mental decline. I'm mostly happy with what he's doing with, I shouldn't say I'm mostly happy. It's like he should be doing more, in my opinion, to give the Ukrainians the weapons that they need so they can finish the war. A lot of people on the right, even Tucker Carlson, it's like, and this is what I noticed when the war started, is the people on the right that I followed that I thought knew what they were talking about, foreign policy in the war, they were all completely wrong. And over time, over the last year and a half or so that the war's been going on, I found people that actually, when they're about 85-90% right most of the time, and most of these are former military guys, so they worked in logistics, or they understood operations and weapons and tactics and systems, and so they write very detailed Twitter threads. Plus, we've got all this stuff on Twitter where there's a lot of translations of Russian TV, and so you can see what Russian TV is saying, and even on Russian TV, they don't think they're winning, and they don't seem to think that they're going to be able in the long run to beat Ukraine. And so, what Putin is hoping to do is to outlast us in the West. And quite frankly, if Trump got elected, he would probably just continue the war as it is, and on top of that, he would probably give them more of the weapons that they would want, because when he was in office, he sent the Ukrainians a lot of money, a lot of training, a lot of weapons, and a lot of stuff that really helped them when the Russians invaded. So Trump was great for the economy. He helped encourage the bankers to keep the interest rate low. And, by the time, if he wins, he gets sworn in, the money supply has been contracting. And so it would be a good thing. I don't know what the heck's going to happen with Biden. I don't see how that guy he seems so out of it. I don't see how he's even going to live another 4 or 5 years, I guess it would take, if you consider if he wins the next election and goes all the way in the end. So I want to see Trump for another 4 years, and then I want to see Daddy DeSantis in 2028. But when you look at what's happening with DeSantis' campaign and the stuff that they're saying, and I don't like all the fighting and the infighting and shit that's going back and forth between the two of them. Wasn't a fan of that at all, but I understand it's politics, it's a blood sport, and I personally don't, care to get involved in the mudslinging between those two guys, because I like them both, and I want to see Trump as president one more time, and I want to see DeSantis as president for 2 terms. But it doesn't look like DeSantis' campaign is going really good, because he seems to have surrounded himself by a bunch of never-Trumpers, and just, he was great with the issues as governor, and like the people that are trying to help him win presidency, it's like the stuff that they're talking about that he's for just has nothing to do that showcases his strengths and the good job that he did as a governor. But I mean, at the end of the day, Trump and DeSantis both locked us down, and I'm not happy about that at all. That should have never happened. It should have never been allowed to happen. It was totally illegal and unconstitutional, but they did it anyways.
I really like DeSantis as a candidate, mainly too because so many people there's just so much hatred and vilification of Trump. Like, there's the hate Trump cult is just so strong. It's so mentally ingrained in them. Because I just want kind of
like, he broke people's brains, man.
Yeah,
he broke Jennifer's brain.
Exactly.
She would talk about, I hate him. I just would have gone, Corey. I hate him.
Just the mere mention of his name sends people into a spiral. So it's like, I mean, I like your idea of the 4 and the 8 years,
Yeah.
but I think to really get a lot done, I think DeSantis can get a lot done to actually like pass a lot of bills and laws and not be as divisive. I think you're already seeing that how the media is portraying him very poorly. I just don't think they can do as good as job. I don't think he's going to be hated as much as Trump was, especially after the job Biden does. People realize, you know what? Maybe the media is lying if they're saying, "Oh, there's nobody brought the cocaine into the White House. That's there. Stop asking questions." No, Biden does
Yeah,
not
that's
have
pretty
dementia.
crazy. Yeah, the Secret Service announced, well, we've ended our investigation. We don't know whose cocaine it is. Nobody's come to claim it.
There was no camera footage of it either in the White House of all places.
But there is some footage of Hunter Biden on the balcony going, as he's walking away and his mother's kind of giving him a dirty look.
That's actually not his mother.
Well, his
Stepmother.
his stepmother, sorry.
There you go.
Because, he just looked like he just, snorted a few lines off Hooker's ass. He looks pretty disheveled all the time.
So yeah, there's nothing. You get nothing out of the media, but I know they're already going after DeSantis a lot, and then Trump's already so hated. So I think that's one of the good things if DeSantis is over Trump is because I think there's less hatred, but we don't know how that could grow. Because yeah.
I want to see Trump for 4 more years. I want to finish what he started. But, he did. He turned the country over. He said he was going to drain the swamp, and all he ended up doing was turning it over to them. He turned it over to the deep state. I mean, he just basically put Fauci in charge of the government, and him and Birx just lied their fucking asses off. And Birx is, admitted that she lied all the time in those early days because she felt it was better to mislead people because it was for their own good. And he just, he just let them run the country, and that pissed me off. That affected my business. If lots of people lost businesses, a lot of relationships got ruined, and there was no legal basis to do any of that shit, and yet they did it anyways. The Great Reset, and then you read like Klaus Schwab's book on the Great Reset and all that, and you're like, and then some of their what do you call it, the war game kind of stuff that they did with viruses and things in like 2019 or whatever, and that doesn't look good. It almost looks like they had that whole thing waiting for the right circumstances, and because they hated Trump so much, I don't know, it's weird. I remember the videos early on. Did you guys ever see the videos of like the Chinese people like collapsing, like falling over from COVID? And you would see right as they fell over, right before they hit the ground, they would put their hands out and catch themselves. And so these were videos that China was releasing when all this stuff was coming out about the coronavirus. And it's like obvious on some level that the Chinese, whatever reason, why would they release videos of people passing out? I remember there's another one, somebody's, jumping up and down on a gurney in a hospital, like, I think they were covered up. Yeah, and it was all fake. And it was the kind of stuff, it's like there's this virus out there and it's just, killing people and they're dropping dead in the streets. And so you see these propaganda videos come out, and then they go all over Twitter. They're all over social media when all that stuff started coming out. And you're like, whoa, man, that looks like people are dropping dead. And it was all a psyop. And it, turns out even Bill Gates now is like, well, the virus wasn't really for most people. It wasn't, any more than just a common cold. We were wrong. Gosh darn it. But give up more of your sovereignty to the World Health Organization, because next time then they can declare a pandemic and lock the whole world down.